Here we go. All right, so what do I have? What do you see in front of you here? Tell me anything you know about this.
I don't really remember terribly much about it.
How
Isn't
would
it
you
like,
describe this to someone else?
um, I don't really know.
Okay, so I'm looking for maybe like the word line. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
Okay. And how would you sort of indicate the direction of the line?
Uh,
Or to think of it another way, let's say you were standing here. Tell me about what happens when you go to the right.
um, sorry, I don't think I understand. Like,
Okay.
up,
Let's look at it differently. Let's say you're hiking and you're right here, and this is the terrain in front of you. How would you describe that to someone?
going up.
Going up. In fact, you're going up and to the right. Okay. All right. Now, there is specific words that we use, which is to describe a line is we talk about the slope. Have you heard that before?
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. This could be totally brand new, but you definitely more than capable of understanding this. So we're gonna keep tackling. So slope describes the two things, the kind of the magnitude and the direction of the slope of the line. Okay, the slope tells you like how big it is and in which direction it's going. This one is going up and to the right. Like if you were to walk along here, you're going up and to the right. So do you see how there's two dots that are plotted?
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to just reframe this question here. Imagine I wanted you to walk from A to B, and you first had to go up, and then you went to the right. So we call up the rise. Up means rise. And then you always go to the right. So how much up am I going?
One,
How many? One. And how much to the right am I
two.
going to get to be? Two. This is your slope. So your slope is defined as rise divided by run.
Okay.
And this is just a pure definition. Okay, so let's look at a new problem. All right. So again, let's say you're starting at A and you're going to B. And I want to know the slope. The slope is the rise divided by the run. So from A, how many up are you going? How many to the right are you going?
Going up four and then going right one.
Yes. Very good. All right, good. Okay. Um, let's, so I'm just trying to pause here. Think about let's go back to that hiking analogy. Have you been hiking before?
Yeah.
Okay. Which would you rather hike and why? The one on the left or the one on the right?
Um, I mean, I guess it depends on what I feel like,
Okay.
but
All right. So there's no right answer. So now the better question is, what is the difference? What is the difference between the one on the left and the one on the right?
one's steeper,
Which one is steeper?
the right.
The one on the right. So the one on the left here might have a slope of say 1/2, and the one on the right might have a slope of say 4. So the bigger the slope, the more steep it is.
Okay.
And does that intuitively make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I know it's probably hard to draw these, but I'm just, I mean, you got the notes at the end, so. All right, so let me have you try this one, please. And hopefully it's big enough that you can count. Could you give me the slope of this, please? And you always go from left to right. You always go from point on the left, point on the right. We read left to right. We do a lot of things left to right. It's always that direction.
Okay. Would that be 4?
Just 4, nothing else, just the number 4.
Oh,
Usually it's a fraction, meaning like there's a number on top, there's a number on the bottom.
okay. 4, 6.
Like this, 4/6.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's check here. So you're saying I go up for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just counting, and then right 6. Looks good to me. Now, can you reduce this fraction?
Yeah.
What does it reduce to?
2/3.
2/3. So it is expected that you would reduce the fraction if you could. So while this is correct, this is on the right is preferred.
Okay.
You know, it's like you could get a Lunchables for lunch. I don't know if, I mean, I don't know if that's even still a thing, but you know, or you could get like a nice sandwich and, you know, apple or something. I don't know, right? Like they're both lunch, but one is better than the other. But you can't,
Mhm.
but you don't always, like you can't, like it's not that you can always reduce. What is the slope of this one?
2, 6.
Okay, 2/6 maybe? Does that reduce?
Uh, 2, 1/3.
All right, very good. Okay, now we're going to move to some other problems, something different, something, you know, we didn't, and let me just snip this, put this in front of you here. Okay. What is different about this line compared to all the other ones we've looked at today?
It's pointing in a different direction.
Right. So this line, how would you describe this to someone? How would you describe its direction?
Up left.
We always go to the right. So it's something you're going down and to the right.
Okay.
We always look at things from left to right, meaning you start on the left and you go to the right, at least in this country. I mean, you go to other places in the world, right? It could be different.
Okay.
Okay, now the slope this time, it's still the rise, but the rise means you're either going up or down. So this case, you're going down. But you're always going, and they use the word run, you're always going to the right, always, always right. So when you, in this problem, when you go down, that's negative, -2 over, your run is 2. So the top number can be either positive or negative. It's negative if you're going down, but the bottom number is always positive because you're always going to the right.
Okay.
What does this reduce to?
Um,
What is any number divided by itself? Forget about the sign for a moment. The answer is negative. What is any number divided by itself?
1.
One. You seemed a little uncertain about that. Is there a question or something I can answer?
No, I was just kind of thinking.
So if it goes down and to the right, like this one goes down and to the right, down and to the right, the slope will be negative. Okay, so in this one here, you have to calculate how much down, how much to the right. Could you
Okay.
could you give that to me here, the slope, please?
-5 and 4.
Good. Does this reduce?
Uh, I don't think so.
It does not. That is the final answer. Okay, so here, let me give you a couple of problems to try. I'm gonna put 2 up here. You're welcome to start on the first, and then I'll give you the other one here to look at. All right, so if you could give me the slope of these.
So for the first one, I got -5/1, and the second one I got -1/4.
Good. Now this one on the left, you would actually, believe it or not, give it as just -5. So you don't give it over 1.
Okay.
And that might be a little odd, but that is what it is. Any questions on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the next type of problem you'll see, and this is a little bit harder because you don't have this in front of you. And it's on a screen, through a screen, like that's not ideal. But see how there's no dots on here? There's just a line.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is you want to create dots. You want to say, okay, and it's got to go perfectly through, the grid. The grid is this grayed out stuff. It's got to be perfect. Okay. And then you got to find another one, and you go until you find a perfect one. Like it's got to be perfect. Okay. And depending on your instructor, they could really be difficult here. But once you get that, you can then determine the slope. Okay. You just count. In this case, again, you're going from left to right. This time you're going up and to the right. So can you give me the slope, please?
3/2.
3/2. Very good. All right, so I'd like you to try determining the slope for this one on your own. Let me know what you come up with.
-2/3.
Very good. Okay, perfect. There's a lot of other stuff we could do here, but we're not going to spend any more time on that. So let's move to something else. All right, so before we do the next thing, I'm going to give you just a few practice problems just to see where you're at with your manipulation of numbers. So let's say it's 5 minus 7 over 3 minus 2. Could you simplify this for us, please?
Okay. Like on my notebook.
Yep, work it out. Just give me the final answer here.
Okay. I got -2.
Good. Very good. All right, let's try another one here. -3 minus a -5 over 6 minus 8.
I got 4.
Okay, tell me what the numerator becomes.
I got -8.
Okay, so there's the problem here. So this double negative on the right becomes a positive,
Positive.
-3 plus 5. So
Okay.
that'll change your answer. Why don't you rework it?
Okay, I got -1.
So the 2 over -2 is -1. Good. All right. Let me, oh, I don't want to do that. All right, let me try one more here. Let's say it's -5 minus 7 over 6 minus 9. Could you simplify this for us, please?
Sure. I got 4.
So the top is -12, the bottom is -3, and it is 4. Good. Okay. Very, very good. All right. So now we can go to actually doing slope problems the way that they are intended here. So the way that they typically work is they'll give you 2 points and they'll say to determine the slope. Okay. So there's this formula for slope. Formula for slope is y subscript 2 minus y subscript 1 over x subscript 2 minus x subscript 1. Have you seen this before?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now you might be wondering about these numbers. Like, what do they mean? Well, if you recall, ordered pairs are normally x comma y. Does that sound familiar to you?
Maybe a little.
Okay. Now, the reason I ask is because when you have more than one, you use subscripts to distinguish them. So this is x1, y1, and then x2 and y2. So the first ordered pair gets the ones, the second ordered pairs gets the twos. So can you tell me the value of y2 from this?
Uh, I don't think I know. Sorry.
Okay, which one is right next to the y2? I'm pointing at it and trying to help you here.
3,
3. Which one is the y1?
2,
2. How about x2?
4,
4 minus.
0.
Okay. I can tell we're out of your comfort zone. How do you feel?
I mean, this stuff isn't very familiar to me.
So it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, that's okay. If you were always comfortable, you wouldn't learn anything. You wouldn't be able to do stuff. You have to be out of your comfort zone a little bit. And you don't need to necessarily know why, or we're just doing some stuff. You'll see it again later on. You're doing a great job. So don't get too overwhelmed. Now, do you see how this is kind of like the practice problems I was giving you?
Yeah.
Okay. What is 3 minus 2?
1,
4 minus 0.
4.
So this is your slope.
Okay.
This is your slope. All right. So we're going to do another one. All right. Okay. So again, when you have two ordered pairs, this first one is x1. This is y1. The subscript means like I've got more than one. So how do I distinguish them? We'll have to use the subscript. This is 2. This is y2. So I know that's new. You'll see it again. See it again, it'll make more sense. Now, the slope formula, this you do have to know. You have to memorize, at some point. You don't have to do it for me. I'll write it for every time, but at some point you want to know this for your class, or they'll say you got to know it for your test or quiz. What is the value of y2? Are you able to hear me? Looks like you dropped out.
Hello?
Hey Hudson, how are you?
Sorry, the Wi-Fi
Yeah,
went
I
out.
figured sometimes that happens. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I understand sometimes we have these issues, but um, we'll just keep going here. So I was labeling x1 as 0, y1 as 3, x2 as 4, and y2 as 1. And you want to do this each time. Like you want to label the points on your paper x1, y1, x2, y2. Can you tell me the value of y2 in our equation?
1,
Okay, 1 minus, what's the value of y1?
3,
Okay, and how about x2
4,
minus?
0,
Okay, could you simplify this for me, please?
-2/4.
Okay, does that reduce?
Yeah. Would that be just -1/2?
Yes, and it is expected that you can reduce this. Any questions on that or thoughts?
Oh, sorry, no.
Okay. Let's see if I can give you one to try here. I'm trying to find something with some numbers that are nice. This would be good. Be really good here if I could find something with some nice numbers in it. Okay, here we go. So here is your first problem to try on your own. I'll write down the formula for you. Go ahead and give that a try, please.
Hey, I got 7/7, so 1.
Okay, that is pretty good. So 0 minus 7 over 10 minus 3 minus 7 over 7. I heard something different.
Um, oh, I didn't do -7 on the top. Uh,
You see why it's -7, that the zero, the subtraction goes with the 7.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So what we run into in these problems is how to handle negatives. Like if you hadn't noticed, I've been giving you ones that are all positive,
Hmm.
and that's just not reality. And like math class, like I'd like for it to be, but it's just not. So you will see problems with negatives. So let's look at a few of those. We'll talk about how to handle those. Let me grab a problem here if I could snip this correctly. All right. So again, we'll go X1, Y1, and you can label them in the top. I don't know. I don't know why. I used you just label them the top, but I don't know why I started doing it on the bottom. X2, Y2. Your slope is Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1, like that. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
So now Y2 is -3 minus Y1, which is 1, over X2, 1 minus 0. So when the Y is negative, you just put it in. That's no big deal. We'll get to what to do when the X is negative, but will you try simplifying this, please?
Okay. -4/1.
Okay. Very good. All right. Now the other one here is, well, what do you do when the X value is negative? Which, why don't any of these have an X value? There we go. Finally got one. Is when the X, I'm sorry, the second one is negative, not necessarily the Y. Sorry, the second one is negative here. So let me, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean Y. I meant if the one in the first position is negative, it's no big deal. But it's when the second position is negative that it's potentially a problem. So we'll look at that here in the next problem. And so the issue really is just how to deal with the signs here, the X1, the Y1, the X2, and the Y2. So our slope here, Y2 minus Y1. If you want to learn how to memorize a formula, you just write it out a bunch and you will never forget it. So it's -1 for Y2 minus, so it's always minus. This is always there, always there. And then Y1 is -3. Let's see how you have that double negative like we had previously.
Hmm.
X2 is 3 minus X1, which is 0.
Okay.
And now the double negative becomes -1 plus 3 over 3. So what does that reduce to?
Uh, Sorry, I don't know.
N- -1 plus 3
Oh, 2,
over.
3.
Yes. Okay. So like these are just intermediate steps.
Hmm.
All right. So let me just have you try one. We'll just see how it goes. I'll grab the formula here. I'm actually going to step away for 30 seconds, but I will be right back.
Okay. All right, I am back. So let me know if you have any questions or if you got the answer. It's always good as well. I got -5.
-5.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look here. -6 minus 4 over 2 minus 0, which is -10 over 2, which is -5. Very good. All right, so let me just increase the difficulty. 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, you're just like, I don't know if I can do these, and these I don't understand. How are you feeling at the moment about the stuff?
I mean, I think it's going fine. It's just something I need to get used to, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, like maybe not fully understanding it, but you're doing it. You're doing the calculations. You're getting all the signs right. Just be very cautious here as you work through these. So here's a new problem for you to take a look at, and let me know if you have any questions.
I got 6.
6 is your final answer.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. 14 minus a -4 over -1 minus a -4. Does that match up with what you have?
Yeah.
So the double negative becomes positive. So 14 plus 4. Double negative becomes positive. So you've got 18 over 3, which is 6. Very good. Really, 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 really good. So what do you think is the hardest part about doing these types of problems?
I think just remembering where the numbers go, like the x2 and the x1.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm just looking for another problem to give you here that's not too crazy. Just do a couple more here. I think you're doing a great job. This is something you'll see in the classroom. It's problems you'll have to be able to do. So let me have you let's try a couple more here.
I got -2.
So let's see here, -6 minus 1 over 1 minus a minus 13. Does that look like what you have?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to point this out here that, and you're going to see there's an issue here. The only way you can get a number like you've given me here is if the bigger number is on top, but the bigger number is not on top, it's on the bottom there.
Okay.
So this is a fraction. So the answer is some sort of fraction. So you're close. I mean, you're not, it's not, you're not like a million miles off, but what is the,
-1/2.
yeah, yes, perfect. Perfect there. Okay, so the main takeaway from today is like, you got to know this slope formula. You've got to. There's no way you can do this without the slope formula.
Okay.
All right. So that's like, if you were like, what say, it's one, like if someone asks you, it's one thing you did today, it's slope. You learned about slope. We talked about the idea that graphs that go up and to the right, they have positive slope, and graphs that go down and to the right, they have negative slope, like that.
Okay.
All right, so might as well stop here. We got a lot accomplished here.